So I just wanted to chat to you today about making the most of finding that energy in your life, because we all try and we want to live our best lives possible. We want to live them with energy, enthusiasm, be the best parents that we can, be the best employees that we can, and often we fall short of that. And the reason for that is because we get caught up with things that essentially zap our energy. Our entire system is built perfectly, but we get in its way. We are the ones that kind of need to shift out of our body's way and let our bodies do what they were designed to do, because actually they were designed to be pretty darn perfect. And so the whole point of this is just to sort of go over the main areas that will help you regain that energy when you start to take action. And then we're going to move on into cravings and help you overcome cravings that you struggle with. But for this video specifically, I just want to lay the foundations for your success so that you can start to live a more vibrant and energized life. So it doesn't matter where you're at the moment, whether you're already slim and fit, whether you are extremely obese and you've got lots of weight that you need to lose. It doesn't matter if you're somewhere in between, regardless of where you're at, everything that I'm going to discuss in this video will serve a purpose and help you get that energy started. It applies to absolutely every single one of us. So there are four main things which are going to be zapping your energy, and the first one is something that we've all heard of, and that's called stress. Now, stress comes in all sorts of different shapes, forms and sizes, as we all know. It can be stress from work, it can be stress from your partner, it can be stress from your children, it can be stress because you're not looking after your body correctly, so your body's reacting in ways that it shouldn't naturally have to. So essentially, stress is something that the way we live these days, we are bombarded with stress. What actually happens in the body is when we get stressed, we trigger the fight, flight or freeze response, which is when cortisol floods our body. So I don't know if you've ever seen a car accident or something's made you really jump, somebody's jumped out on you, and you feel like killing them because you're terrified. But it's that feeling of dread in your stomach that you get, or that sort of hot flush feeling that you get in your head. That is the cortisol literally flying through your system in a desperate attempt to try and save you from whatever the threat is. In the olden days, that was probably a long-toothed saber tiger. I can't remember how you say it, but it would have been a real threat. Whereas now we are so frazzled with our busy digital lives that we're pumped full of that cortisol every single day, and it has nowhere to go. It just sort of sits in our system. So we're going to look at ways to help to calm that stress within your body. We also have something called a relaxation response, which is what we're also going to try and trigger. In fact, we'll do that in a few moments. I work with a lot of people that suffer from anxiety, teenagers in particular, and one of the first things I teach all of them is the art of deep and mindful breathing, because when we deep breathe, we trigger that relaxation response. And when we're relaxed, physiologically, we cannot be stressed. So it's a matter of learning that technique and incorporating it into your everyday life, really. And if you've got times in your life which are more stressful than others, you want to be doing that as a regular practice. So, first thing in the morning, last thing before you go to bed, maybe do it at lunchtime if you have a lunch break, or, you're with your kids at home and you get a chance when they've gone for a nap, do your deep breathing exercises then. And also, I say this to my anxious teenagers, whenever you feel any kind of anxiety or stress creeping over you, just stop for 5 minutes. That's all it takes. And just do the deep breathing. So actually, let's do that now. I'm going to do that now with you because I think it's so important, and we're just going to do a few rounds just to show you. So the essence of it is you breathe in deeply through your nose for the count of, say, sort of 6 seconds. So you breathe in, and then you hold that breath, and you hold it for ideally 10-12 seconds, and then you release it slowly through your mouth. So, and then you'd repeat that again. So in through the nose, and then hold it for a few seconds. And it's really nice if you do this with your eyes closed, because it just makes it a lot more relaxing, and you can really sort of get into it. And then you release really slowly again through your mouth. So what you're trying to sort of aim to do is around about 5 to 10 rounds of those deep breathing exercises several times a day, which triggers the relaxation response. It stimulates the vagus nerve, which runs across the front of the abdomen, and that helps also to trigger the relaxation response. So it's physiologically proven. I think people don't do it because they think, how can breathing help me? But you'll find that when you're stressed, your breathing is going to be really shallow, it's going to be really fast, and it's not going to be therapeutic breathing. It's going to be almost like a pant, a silent pant. That's not good, because that's not really doing you any favors. You're not flooding your cells of your body with oxygen. So this deep breathing, even if you're not under a stressful situation, deep breathing is absolutely fantastic for your sort of overall cellular health. The next thing that we are going to talk about is sorry, it's my dog just going out, is exercise. Because again, exercise is a fantastic way of triggering that relaxation response. Because you're exercising, because you're increasing your heart rate, because you're breathing in more, you're also gobbling up the cortisol, the stress hormones, because that's, when you think about it, that's what we're designed to do evolutionary, is that we're designed to either run after our prey or run away from something that's bigger than us and might eat us. So when we're exercising, our body is doing exactly what it needs to do. And I know you might be sat there rolling your eyes at me. I know. But our bodies are designed to move. It doesn't need to be exercise that makes you go dizzy. It doesn't need to be exercise that makes you collapse in a sweaty heap. It can be regular walking. It can be doing a few squats. It can be skipping if you don't have an awful lot of time. Just incorporate some movement. Your body is designed to move. And when you move, you're giving your body what it needs. And if you're not being triggered by that stress response all the time, you're helping to create the right environment in which your body can thrive. So I know a lot of people don't like the idea of having to work out, but if you want to have energy, it's absolutely vital. In our cells, we have a little thing called mitochondria, and these are like the powerhouses of our cells. And they, when we eat good food, our mitochondria release that food as fuel into our cells. When we exercise, we actually help replicate those mitochondria. So it's a misnomer to think that if you exercise, you're going to wear yourself out. Absolutely wrong. When you exercise, you actually gain energy. And I know that myself. There are days, not so much these days because I work out most days, so it's kind of just, I get up and I do it. It's a non-negotiable in my daily schedule. But before it became a non-negotiable, I'd have days when I was really sluggish and I was like, I can't be bothered today. And I just stay really sluggish. And then when I finally managed to get my arse off the couch and work out, I felt so much better. I felt energized, I felt vibrant, I was really proud of myself. So it's really important, from on a cellular level also, to make sure that we're working out regularly or getting some kind of exercise, just move. Also, like for instance, you do a workout in the morning and then you're sat at your desk all day long. You still need to move. So, take the stairs instead of the lift. I work from home, so I take the dogs for a walk midday-ish, because I've done my workout. I might have sat down for a couple of hours to do some laptop work. Then I get out and I move again, and I get out with the dogs. So however it works for you in your schedule, and it has to work around your schedule. Me telling you my schedule isn't going to help, because it might not fit in with you. But it is absolutely vitally important that you do move and stretch as well. When we're sat at our computers, we're hunched forward, we get bad posture, which then restricts our lungs, and we can't breathe so well. So, you really want to be every now and again moving your shoulders, twisting round. When I'm sat on the chair now where I do some stretches, and literally I pull myself around like that, and on the other side, and it just gives me a really good stretch. But it helps to keep my back in alignment, and it just does what it needs to do. So movement is vitally, vitally important. So we've discussed stress, we've discussed movement and exercise. The next one on my little list is food. Now, you may not know that our digestive system is the major area where our immune system works from. So when you are filling your body with refined sugars like white sugar, processed food, because that has a lot of sugar in it, and salt, which is not good. What else? Cookies, cakes, the kind of the rubbish stuff. We are not feeding our gut flora, our gut biome. Think of it like, if you've ever been to the Eden Project, these big round greenhouses. That's what our gut's like. It's full of healthy bacteria. Well, it should be. So when we're feeding it with the right stuff, we're allowing the healthy bacteria to thrive, which then boosts our immune system and keeps us healthy. It helps to beat things like cancer cells. We all have cancer cells in our bodies, and a healthy immune system helps to keep those cancer cells at bay. But when you're eating a lot of refined food, you're drinking too much alcohol, you're just eating stuff you shouldn't be eating. We all know what those things are. It's fast food, it's processed food. I always say to people, they go, oh, well, I could go and buy something like with bulgur wheat and mushrooms, and it's got olives from a nice supermarket. It comes in a packet. Oh my goodness, look at the ingredients on that stuff. Yeah, they market it as natural and healthy. It's nothing compared to making your own bulgur wheat, sticking some mushrooms in it, chopping up an onion and scattering some garlic salt on it. Essentially, that's the same thing. If you cook it yourself at home, it'll cost you a fraction of the price, and it'll be a lot healthier. It's all the rubbish they stick in these things. Avoid it like the plague. Treat your gut like it was your facial skin. How many of you put on expensive facial creams? Come on, most of us do. Treat your gut like it's your face. It's so important. Our immune system comes from, most of our immune system comes from our gut. And also another thing to remember is our gut. I think it's 90%, a huge percentage of dopamine and serotonin. So dopamine is the reward hormone, neurotransmitter in our bodies. Serotonin is our feel-good thing hormone that makes us feel amazing. So I'm pretty sure it's 90% of both of those come from inside our gut. Those feel-good hormones are released from within our gut. So when your gut bacteria is poor, you're not releasing those feel-good hormones, those feel-good things. So, not only is it essential for good immune health to maintain a healthy biome in your gut, it's really, really important for just your overall well-being and your sense of happiness and contentment. So, things for gut health, fermented foods, sauerkraut, bleh. You might like it, I don't. But, live yogurts, things like that. I would stick to the live natural yogurts. Don't eat the sweetened yogurts or flavoured yogurts, because those tend to have much more sugar in them. If you really like a flavour in your yogurt, what I'd suggest is buy a live Greek yogurt, for instance, a natural Greek yogurt, and then just blend some fresh fruits or frozen fruits, frozen berries into it. That'll give it a nice flavour. If you really need a sweetish topping on top, add a little raw honey, something like that. Or actually beetroot powder, something I've recently found. It makes everything seem so sweet, but it's super healthy. So, it turns everything bright, sort of pinky red. But that, I sprinkle that on my yogurts now when I want something a little bit sweeter. It's absolutely delicious. Or cinnamon, of course. Cinnamon is great. It's a really healthy spice. It regulates your blood sugar levels. It's one of those, it's such a powerful powder. And I learnt from a friend of mine recently that you can use it in your garden too. I'm amazed. It's just, cinnamon is just like brilliant. So anyway, going back to gut health, it's really important that you maintain good healthy gut. So you want lots of fruit, you want lots of fiber, you want lots of fresh vegetables, you want healthy protein, lean protein, whether that's from ethically sourced animals or whether it's more from a vegetable protein type thing. But you want, and also you want to be eating like the colours of the rainbow in your fruits and vegetables. So don't just stick with don't think a potato is a vegetable. It is technically, but it's not a high power vegetable. If you want to eat potatoes, I'd advise sweet potatoes. They've got a much lower glycemic index, so they're going to release the blood sugars a lot slower. And get into zoodles. Zoodles are the new thing. It's courgette spiralized, or zucchini if you're American. It's zucchini spiralized. It's absolutely awesome. It's transformed so many of my sort of pasta-based dishes, and I use cauliflower rice instead of, I always used to use either red rice or wild rice, and wild rice costs a fortune, but those were healthy rices, and actually they made me bloat quite a lot, but I love curries, so I eat quite a lot of curries, so by default I'd eat quite a lot of rice until I found cauliflower rice. And literally all you do is you blend up some cauliflower florets in a food whizzy blender thing, and it makes cauliflower rice. It's absolutely fantastic, and I just put it on the stove or I bake it in the oven with some coconut oil. And sometimes if I wanted a little bit sweeter, I literally just scatter a little bit of desiccated coconut in it, sort of 5 minutes before I serve up. And it is awesome. And with curries, it's delicious. So zoodles and cauliflower rice are my new go-to. They're super healthy, and you'll also lose weight with them. The final point I want to cover is searching for perfection. The hunt for perfection is gonna just zap your energy completely. Perfection doesn't exist at the end of the day. It's all about progress. I used to do the hashtag progress, not perfection, but everybody does it in the sort of health industry, so I've given up. But I still believe it. It's baby steps. It's things little steps you can take now that when compounded make a massive, massive difference in the future. It's about not beating yourself up for the occasional treats. Birthdays happen, parties happen, social events happen. Think about your body and your health like a bank account. So it's a matter of trying to keep a healthy bank balance. So when you're putting healthy food in the majority of the time, you're working out or getting some exercise, you're moving, you're sleeping relatively well, you're eating healthy food. These are good, positive balances in your bank account. And then the occasional booze up, the occasional party, the occasional, bar mitzvah, the occasional thing when you just go and eat loads of cake or muffins or whatever is your thing. That won't matter, because those are just small withdrawals. In the bigger scheme of things, it's about having that healthy lifestyle with a few treats chucked into it. So that's the thing to remember. Don't beat yourself up for the times when you either fall off course, and don't even consider it falling off course. It's not, it's life. We all have things that happen. But it's making sure that the majority, sort of 80% of your actions are health based. Then the other 20% or 15 to 20% is not going to do you any it's not going to do you any harm. You know, it's probably going to do you a lot less harm than trying to be completely perfect. I remember a few years ago going around to my friend's house for dinner. We hadn't seen each other for a while. We were really good friends. And I hope she doesn't watch this video. Because I don't think we were very good friends afterwards. And she was cooking dinner and we were having a glass of wine together, and she had to do her ironing. Now, I get it. I'm a single mum. I know how busy life can be. But I was literally there for an hour and a half. We hadn't seen each other for ages. And she insisted, she said to me, can I please do my ironing while we talk before we eat? Just like, yeah, that's fine. But it's just like, chill, relax, you know, don't let life become so stressy. It doesn't matter, you know, the bigger scheme of things. Enjoy those social times, enjoy hanging out with your friends, but also enjoy going to bed knowing that you've done the best that you can given that the day that you've had. And that's not an excuse to think, well, I had a really tough day, so I'm going to go and get absolutely arseholed and I'm going to go and drink half a bottle of whiskey. That's not what I'm suggesting. But, you know, just try and keep on the healthy side of life, and then the odd little thing, you know, as the treats, the other 20%, 15 to 20% isn't going to matter. So we talked about the 4 things that zap your energy, or the major things that zap your energy. First one was stress. Second one was not moving enough or at all. Third one was food. And the fourth one is chasing perfection. So I want the reason we've gone over those today is because these are going to form the foundation of a healthy future for you. So what I want you to do is, take what you've learned today in however you want to implement that into your life. Thank you for bearing with me. I hope this has been useful for you. And I just wanted to mention too, if you want some healthy recipes, go onto my therapy website, and that's flourishtherapy.co.uk. And along the top, you'll get the healthy recipes link, or the link, the menu bar. Click healthy recipes. There is a banana loaf in there, there is a chocolate cake in there, but the majority of other things are all savoury and they're pretty healthy, because I don't really like unhealthy food. And for recipes that do have sugar in them, like the banana loaf and the chocolate cake, they're literally the smallest amount of sugar that you can get away with. So, go and have a look. I'm not a fussy cook. I like nutritious food. I like delicious food. I hate messing around trying to read a complicated thing. It's just like I like to stick it all in a pot, let it cook and eat it. So a lot of those recipes are like that. So go and have an explore, and hopefully you'll find something that might be of use to you. Catch you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.